Well, aren't we blessed to be back here once again? And welcome back to Across the Board. Thank you guys for joining us on this Thursday evening at 9:39 p.m. Tell you what, Jaden, the week is over. About to have a 3-day weekend, which won't be a weekend because I got to work. So, kind of just put up with it. But hey, it is what it is. How have you been?
Good.
Just living life. All's
All
going well.
yesterday.
There you go, man. There you Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, welcome back. Thank you guys for joining us on this Thursday evening. Today, on our menu, college baseball. And that's it. A lot of college baseball to cover. Tell you what, this was a bizarre weekend, if I say so myself. So I say we go and hop right into it. And then we have our stress meter, and then the the field of 64 projections. Oh boy, I was having an issue getting that one out. We'll go over that at the end. Not really go in depth, just kind of bring it out and kind of see where we're looking so far. But with that being said, let's go and hop right into it. So I want to start in the SEC because we had 7 sweeps this weekend, which was just bizarre in itself. I'll go ahead and start where I want to go. Okay. I do want to start with Mississippi State Ole Miss. And that Mississippi State is going to be elite. I am like dang near putting them as a lock to be in Omaha. I mean, they've got it figured out. Tommy Valinkas, Ryan McPherson, and then if Duke Stone can get it figured out a little bit, hey man, they've got a good rotation. I mean, they're batting .337 this season, 3.23 team ERA on the mound. They've got the group to do it. Their bats are good. They've got players. I think it's fair to say Ole Miss has been one of those teams that has just kind of been iffy, if you will. Hunter Elliott's been the guy. He's kind of been consistent this season, but then you kind of get behind him and you kind of just begin to scratch your head. Like, if this bullpen, and let alone the other part of the rotation, I thought Kane Townsend hasn't been that bad this season. He's been really solid for Ole Miss. But he's been, I look at this offense as well. They kind of struggled this week. Again, they played a good pitching staff. That's a tough one to play against, but that's not ideal for their situation. And again, Mississippi State is a great team. I'm almost had them as a lock to being to Omaha. Them, Texas, and UCLA. So that's very interesting to me. Kind of, what are your thoughts after that series? More on Ole Miss's side of things.
Bad, maybe. I can't really say much. They just beat Florida tonight, so
I know you're disappointed. I do,
you talk about the rotation not being great, but they held us to 4 runs, but they looked disappointing this last weekend. That's for sure. I don't think that's what obviously they expected, but like you said, Mississippi State's just so good. We'll say it's probably an early call, though. There's a lot that can happen for Omaha. We know that.
Well,
But
again, like
I would agree with you, though. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the nation. Obviously, they can compete. We've seen it. I mean, they almost beat UCLA. And they can play. So there's nothing surprising there, and they showed that this last weekend. And they showed that they can obviously swing the bat really well, but they can also make the other team not swing the bat so well with their rotation that they have. Um, and I mean, with all you got to have, if you can just hit the bat somewhat well, but not hit it more than that. But if you just hit the bat somewhat well and you have great pitchers that are going to keep the other team from scoring a lot of runs, I mean that's recipe for success there, and they show that they definitely have that.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I love Mississippi State. I love the group they have. I love the rotation. I love the bats, Ace Reese and Bryce Chance and all the great pieces they have in that lineup. I'm pumped to see how they perform going forward. They do have Georgia this weekend, which we'll get to the schedule, and I will highlight some games there that I'm really hyped to see. But good weekend for Mississippi State. Ole Miss got some work to do, but like you said, they take on Florida, so we'll see where this all pans out from there. I want to go to the next series that really, I'm going to say threw me off because it really did, and the way it played out. Alabama swept Auburn this weekend. Tyler Fay continues to be the guy. Alabama's bats in game one were out of their mind. I mean, then you got Zane Adams. Those two guys like kind of solidified the spot in their rotation Friday, Saturday. And then you got Miles Upchurch, who's kind of had his moments this year. He's definitely struggled. But I think Tyler Fay, Zane Adams are good Friday, Saturday starters out of the rotation. But Alabama, from before even SEC play, we were both scratching our head and kind of just wondering, what is this team? Like, what are they? To me, they didn't have an identity. It was kind of just, let's figure it out. What are they? We've kind of seen it this weekend, even, weekend before. I mean, you get swept by Kentucky. It looks ugly, and then you come out and you get a sweep. Alabama's getting it figured out. I believe they're up to 16th in the ranking right now. They handled Oklahoma today, which we'll obviously cover all that next week, but they're playing good baseball. They've got good pitching, and this weekend they got good pitching. They're swinging the bat well. There's so much to look forward to on this Alabama side. On the Auburn side of things, I didn't think the pitching was horrible games 2 and 3. Game 1, it was just a struggle, which that happens. You're going to have those moments. But we saw kind of the volatility of the bats. Again, there was a bunch of talent in this Auburn lineup. We know that. But we saw how volatile those bats were this weekend. But I'll tell you what, Alabama's looking dangerous right now, man. And they might be hosting a regional come May.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to stay this hot, but um, yeah, I think Tyler Face found his groove. Obviously, started off the season not too great, and then SEC play not too great. But then when he threw that no hitter against Florida, um, I mean, no wonder he did found his groove. But yeah, he's been amazing since, and Alabama's been amazing since that series. Their bats have come alive a little bit more than what they were, um, and their pitching has been fantastic and not what we had expected from Alabama going into SEC play. Even at the start of SEC play, uh, just they didn't look like that type of team, but they found it, and I mean, that's all you gotta do. I mean, they're arguably the hottest team in baseball right now,
Mm-hmm.
and to sweep their rival, and not just their rival, but a really good baseball team in Auburn is insane. Obviously, they were in Tuscaloosa, but still,
Who cares? Auburn has
yeah.
been
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really make a difference, to be honest. It is tough to play away, but it seemed like Auburn shouldn't have been given that much of a problem that Alabama gave them, and so I mean they've Alabama's found their groove. That's all you can really say. And yeah, they play Oklahoma this weekend, which is a great matchup, but they handle business tonight. Um, yeah, if they keep up like this and they keep playing these great ranked teams and they keep just like basically running through them, yeah, they could be in for hosting a regional for sure, but we could see them hunting for an SEC title before that and then hosting a regional. Obviously, guys got to stay healthy. Guys have got to stay hot, but with how they're looking right now, it doesn't look like anything can stop them.
Yeah, and I do love what you mentioned there. I think ever since the Tyler Fay no hitter, a switch just flipped. And sometimes it just takes that game, it takes that moment for things to start going your way. For Alabama, I believe that was huge for them. I want to just roll over Oklahoma, Texas real quick and just say there's really not
Texas is
much to
good.
say except Texas is just Texas.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out Cameron Johnson though for Oklahoma. Really struggled over the past 2 weekends, but then this weekend he puts in 5 innings of work, gives up 1 hit, 4 walks, 8 Ks. Just a positive sign for Oklahoma to see Cam Johnson getting back to himself and that group that he needs to be at. But for Texas, they're a good team, man. I mean, you know how I feel about them being an Omaha team already. They're again, locks are really early, but they're playing good baseball right now. They've got the pieces. I want to go to Florida, Arkansas now, and I know you're pumped to talk about this one, so I'll go over my stuff real fast so I can let you speak along about your Florida Gators. But Florida swept Arkansas. Y'all's pitching staff, Florida game one, on in 9 innings, gave up 5 hits, 4 runs, 7 walks, 6 of those coming from Liam Peterson, and 16 Ks. Loved the turnaround for this pitching staff and this group. You know, me and you have talked about this many times. Florida needed to get that sorted out. I've also mentioned the run totals, getting runs across the plate. And then Jackson Barberry out the bullpen. Loved his performance in game two. He went 3 1/3
Mm-hmm.
innings pitch, gave up 1 run, 7 Ks. I mean, he was wheeling and dealing for sure. But I loved what Florida did this weekend. Just a sign of light out of the bullpen, and they're able to put runs across the plate. You're batting 281 on the season and a 3.75 ERA. And I want to flip to Arkansas side of things. You know, Gabe Gackle, Hunter Dietz, they continue to struggle. Or not continue to struggle, excuse me. They struggled this weekend. I was thinking way too ahead of myself. The batting lineup continues to struggle for this Razorback team. They're batting 231 in conference play. And that is horrific. They have just struggled to hit the ball in conference play. They've struggled to play good. And again, like, don't want to dwell on the past, don't want to look back because that's just silly. I was very surprised when they beat Mississippi State, won that series at home. I really was. But again, I think that shows their ceiling. But right now they're playing bad baseball. Gabe Gackle, Hunter Dietz, they had a rough weekend, fair to say. But when you're hitting as bad as you are, you can't. I mean, it's hard to sit on that pitching to run you through conference play. It's tough. As good as the conference is, no matter who you're playing each week, it's tough. I mean, South Carolina today was beating Texas 6-1. Obviously, don't know how the end result win it, but the point of that being, on any given night, it's the SEC. You've got to bring your best game. You can't rely on your pitching night in and night out and pray and hope that gets the job done for you. You've got to swing the bat. But those are my initial thoughts. I'm going to let you go and take over because I know you've got some stuff to say. But Arkansas is really concerning me right now.
Uh, yeah, man. This is their worst start in what feels like forever in SEC play. I think this is the lowest they've been ranked in forever in SEC play. Um, I can't think of the year that it's the first time they've been swept in a while, but I know it's the first time they've been in Fayetteville. I know this is the first
Oh,
time. Yeah, yeah. I know this is the first time they've been swept in Fayetteville since 2016 by Florida. That was the last time that Florida swept them in Fayetteville, so 10 years ago. Um, and I mean, yeah, they didn't look great. Obviously their batting lineup was horrendous, but you got to give credit to Florida for sure. Uh, but again, Arkansas's rotation, really their bullpen, not even their starting rotation was not great. Obviously not what we want, but their bullpen was just gave up a lot of hits. Um, and that's just, I mean, you can't do that, especially when they weren't leading for any of these for the first 2 games. And so when you're not leading, you can't give up more runs. You just can't. You can't beat guys on base, and that's what they did. So you got to give Florida credit, obviously. Liam Peterson, I know you mentioned him. He's Man. There's a question of whether or not. I mean, he is the ace, but for Florida, there's almost two aces, and it's him and Aiden King. And honestly, right now Aiden King is the ace. Peterson is really good at throwing strikes, really good at getting strikeouts. That is his mojo. He can strike you out any day of the week, but his problem recently has been walks. And even tonight, he started. I think he gave up four walks. I mean, his walks are terrible. His
And
amount,
as I mentioned, six in game one of Arkansas, six of their seven
yeah,
total walks came from Liam Peterson.
yeah. So in his last two starts, he's walked 10 guys. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he had 6 Ks tonight, but like that's just it's not it's not good. Obviously, um, it's really weird when you have a guy like Liam Pearson who throws a ton of strikes usually, and he's throwing. I mean, it's almost like guys aren't chasing him as much as he is used to, which might just mean that people are kind of figuring him out, which isn't great. But at the same time, like I was saying, you have almost another ace in Aiden King, and he's been the better guy. Even though he's your Saturday guy, he's been your better guy. His ERA's been great. He's been amazing. And I mean, hey, you got to give Peterson credit though. He stayed in there. He didn't give up anything too serious for Arkansas to even have a chance. Um, but then the bullpen, I think that's really the thing. The starters were good, and you got to give credit to them, especially on Sunday. But the bullpen was immaculate. This is the best the bullpen has looked since South Carolina series, so 2 weeks ago. Um, but they came in hot. They came in, I think, wanting to bounce back from that terrible sweep at Alabama, and I mean, Ernesto, McNeely, right now. I mean, I could go through all of them, but everybody was great. Obviously, McNeely, biggest one, kept him in, came in at the end of the game on Sunday to, well, to wrap up the sweep, and that was huge. But man, the bullpen looked great, and then the hitting was obviously immaculate. I mean, it was. They hit really well. Um, got to give credit to really everybody on that team. Brendan Lawson obviously is your main guy, and
He kind of struggled this weekend. He
yeah,
or wasn't himself.
he wasn't what they thought it wasn't what were expected from him. Even tonight, he went over 5. Um, I don't know what's going on with him. That's not what you need. But at the same time, when even he had obviously he had a couple of hits and big runs and everything. Even had a homer, but even when your best hitter isn't up to par, to have guys that back him up and Sturwick and Steer, and I mean that's what you need. We did Florida did suffer some injuries in the outfield though this weekend, which is not great. But at the same time, if there's going to be a spot you lose, outfielders isn't the worst because there's a ton of guys in the rotation for outfielders that can actually play. But at the same time, injuries is never a good thing. So hopefully those guys get healthy. But Florida looks great. That's really all I can say. And especially to do it in Fayetteville, I mean, I would say I was not surprised, but I was kind of surprised, especially after Alabama.
Yeah, and kind of just touching on Liam Peterson real fast. You talking about the chasing. I watched watching the High Point series. I watched game one where he was throwing. He started slider middle outside, and I mean guys were chasing after that. I feel like that's kind of where his bread and butter is. But when you've got guys figuring that out and they kind of expect where that ball's going to kind of go, it makes it tough on you to pitch. So that was brutal. But again, I think he'll be good. I do want to say something about Arkansas real fast though. So their team ERA right now in the conference play is at a 5.81. Now they're batting 231, as I said. You got Ryder Helfrich batting 219. Camden Kozel 200. Reese
Yeah.
Robinette 188. Kuyo Aloy 172. Zach Stewart, 121. I'm just saying, this Ryder Helfrich, Aloy, Stewart, Kozel, Robinette. I mean, this can't happen. That's brutal. I mean, those are big pieces to your line that have got to hit if you want to be successful. And so that's brutal on that end. So I did want to point those numbers out. But we're going to leave the SEC now. And I will mention real fast where we do. LSU, huge series win over Kentucky. That series got chippy. That was pretty funny. I won't lie. I was laughing at myself. I couldn't help but laugh. It got heated. I say heated. It got intense. Like we were staring down guys after walks, bat flip absolutely flying in the air. Boy, that was insane. But huge win for LSU. Are they on to something new? We'll see there. And then Tennessee and Vandy.
Vandy
My,
gave
my,
them.
my. That was just
Vandy
that was
showed up.
that was brutal, man. Brutal to watch. But let's go to the ACC. We got to start with the bad news. Myles Bailey out for the season. I watched the play. Dude, that was gnarly. That was just. I just happened to look and I just see the angle. I'm watching it. Not a pretty sight if I say so myself. That's brutal, and that's a huge loss for Florida State. And they're going to have to get things figured out without that guy in the lineup. They did lose today to Virginia, 4-3, but man, that's a huge loss for Florida State, and we'll see how they're able to bounce back with that. But let's start with NC State, Georgia Tech. They sweep NC State. The pitching this weekend from Georgia Tech. Yep, let's clap it up. Absolutely beautiful. Superb this weekend. They brought their A game. What was beautiful is they didn't score. Obviously game 3 they put up 10, but they didn't score in games 2 and 3 a ton. At least not Georgia Tech numbers. I think it was 6, and then I want to say it may have been 7 or 4. But either way, the pitching showed up this weekend. Tate McGee, Mason Patel in game 1, combined 9 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 5 Ks. Caden Gaudette and Brett Barfield, 4 and 1/3 inning pitch, 1 hit, 1 run, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Jackson Blakely, Justin Shadot, 8.1 innings pitch, or 8 innings pitch, 4 hits, 3 walks, 6 Ks. The list goes on for this Georgia Tech squad. Their pitching was great. And I see this as a very positive for Georgia Tech because I've talked about Georgia Tech's offense being elite as it is, but can their pitching catch up? We're not asking for Oregon State, Texas, USC pitching. I'm not asking for that. But if you get a half decent pitching squad with the bats you have, they're going to be a dangerous team. Very dangerous. But a positive sight if you're a Georgia Tech fan to see the pitching staff catch up, be up to par where it should be, and that's huge. For NC State, I thought they competed. Their game 3s have been rough. They've given up a bunch of runs, so they've got to figure out what they can do there. But I love what they have. I love what they have in the lineup. Ryan Marone is a great guy for NC State. I love his pitching ability. Love what he can do. But game 3s for NC State, they've got to figure that out. But for Georgia Tech, love the pitching, love the bats. What are your takeaways from this series?
Georgia Tech is still just as good as we thought they were. Said maybe their hitting wasn't up to par, but I mean, when you put this many, when we're saying their hitting isn't up to par, they're still putting up 6, 7 or more runs. It's I mean, like
Yeah,
what can you really say? That's like it's
yeah,
just I mean, and then you saw their on Tuesday they hit the crap out of Auburn, so it doesn't
They put
really
up.
even.
I'm sorry, was it 18 I saw them put up? Or is
I don't know
that
if it was
no?
that much. I think it was 10.
It was definitely 10.
I believe it
I
was
think I
10 to
saw.
3.
Oh, I know what I saw the. Ignore what I said. I was looking at like the Auburn's rank. I guess when I saw the score, it said Georgia Tech defeated all number 18 Auburn. So I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking.
But I mean, Georgia Tech's just that good, and like you said, with how good their hitting is, but their pitching is just. If they don't have to basically get in dogfights every single time they play, it would help them out by a huge margin. I mean, already they're winning a bunch of games. Already they're that good, and they can put up runs. I mean, everybody can basically hit on that team. I, but like you said, if they just have decent pitching, and they have some of that, if you just tie that in all year for the rest of the year, and it only gets slightly better every single weekend, yeah, Georgia Tech could be the team to beat. I mean, their hitting is immaculate, but you also just don't want to get into dogfights every single game, especially from Omaha when you're playing the best, when you could potentially be playing the best best teams in the nation, and you want to go up against dogfights with them. That's going to be kind of hard. So you're going to need some pitching. So yeah, if that just kind of slowly creeps into the greater, more elite pitching, it would be really helpful. We saw a glimpse of what it could be this weekend. Um, Against NC State, which NC State, man, I, I don't really know what to say about them. They haven't looked great in ACC play. They've been lackluster. They've put up some fights, but then at the same time, they haven't. Like they've shown no energy. They've shown no fight
I'll.
back.
We're gonna talk about them later, but I will say I feel like they may have not played great. I think it's more to me. I point at the game threes and go, okay, game three, that's not it for you guys. Which that still is not good because if you need to be good during those days. But it's kind of tough because they've had a tough run, right? They've had Florida State, Georgia Tech. You play a great pitching staff, and then you play an absolute hitting unit. So they're an interesting team. We'll definitely talk about them later, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, if we're looking at game threes, man, they got shut out 10-0 on Sunday. I mean, you would think they'd at least put up a fight not to want to be swept. No team wants to be swept. If you just take like no team wants to only win one game, but no team wants to get swept. They would much rather win one game than obviously be swept. So they didn't even look like they had a fight in them on Sunday. They didn't. I mean, you don't even get a run. Like that's the stuff I think kind of just we'll talk about them here in a little bit, but like you look at that and you don't know what to say about that because that's kind of what they've looked like to a sense, to a degree.
For sure, man. And that has just been an experience in itself for NC State. I do want to go to Virginia and BC. How about them Eagles? Okay, dude,
I mean, I just
they look
said it
good.
quite a while back. It
They
might be.
look they look good. They've got AJ Colarusso on the mound day one. 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 6 Ks. He looked good. They put up five. They hold. You know what's impressive about this weekend, Jaden? They held Virginia to 6 runs all weekend.
Yeah, three of those came on Sunday, and they're one loss of the series.
Like, dude, if I'm correct, projected to finish dead last in the ACC. They get on base. They steal bases. They get the job done. They play small ball. Now, I do want to go to game one real fast and point out Kyle Johnson for Virginia. He's working back to the rotation. I watched him today. I'm going to say this. When Virginia gets him back fully, and I believe, and I don't know if they're going to roll with this still, but go Kyle Johnson, Henry Zetkowski out the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
That duo is going to be filthy. I'm talking disgusting. So I just want to mention that. They're working him back to the rotation. Obviously, his injury, they're working him back in now, so that's huge on their end. But, man, oh man. Boston College, then they proceed to put up 17 in game 2. And in game 3, Brady Miller for BC went 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 9 Ks. He didn't give up a run. He didn't give up a run in his start. They almost swept Virginia. I just got to say this to be fair, man. Boston College is dangerous. And I believe they ended up beating North Carolina today as well. Again, obviously, we're going to talk about all that next week and all that good stuff. But, dude, they're dangerous, man. They're dangerous. They play small ball. They get the job done, man. They get the job done. What are your thoughts on BC? I feel like me and you talked about them a lot as of late, but how about BC, man?
They
How
look
about them?
amazing. I mean, they do all the things to win, and they showed that, and they have all the key pieces to be able to win. Um, Called it earlier in the season. We talked about it one day, and I said I thought BC could be a really good team. That maybe they were legit, and they had a few losses after that, and maybe people were kind of saying, "Yeah, they're just the BC we thought." And then come ACC play, they look great. They're looking good. Obviously, they don't get a sweep. Barely, they lose to Virginia 3-1 on Sunday, but at the same time, they're 9-4 in ACC play. I don't really like even, you know, honestly care that they lost the last game when that's what you're doing on. I mean, that's what you're doing in ACC play is they're 9-4.
It's competitive loss. Like
Yeah,
there are times when on Sunday games just not competitive. You won the series, whatever. But it was a competitive game 3. They've got pieces, man. I do. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just felt I need to say competing on Sunday is a big recipe for success. I think it shows a lot about a team and kind of the depth, especially in your rotation and the bullpen.
they for sure they showed that for sure all weekend. I mean, to hold a Virginia team to as many runs at two that small of a number is good in its own right. So for BC, I think it can only be just keep going up. I mean, their runs this week, I I could see them competing. Um, I don't even honestly I don't even know if they keep it on this pace. Who knows? They might be good enough to host the regional come the end of the year. That's obviously still far out there, and they still got to play some good ball. But they've looked great. I think they found their stride a little bit. I think they could keep. I think they could keep going up and maybe even have a chance for the ACC title.
And sky's the limit for this team. Love to see it. We're gonna run through. We have 4 more games. We're kind of just gonna run through them though, real fast, and so we can get on to what we need to get on to. North Carolina, Notre Dame. Notre Dame got swept by NC. North Carolina went 3-0. Jason DeCaro, 5 2/3 inning pitch, 5 hits, 3 runs, 9 Ks. Jack Riddell for Notre Dame. He's just a dog. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 10 Ks. But kind of after that, you kind of fall off in your bullpen, and even your not really your bullpen, your rotation kind of falls off. Excuse me, from there. But North Carolina run production, you're kind of looking for that to be boosted up a little bit there. They're batting 293 though. Team ERA is at a 3.54. They have a big weekend, and that was huge for them. Anything you want to touch up on there before I keep going?
Um, Yeah, the batting for North Carolina could be better. It's not the team that we saw last year at the end of the year that could bat the crap out of the ball. Um, and it seemed like nobody could stop them. That's kind of what you're wanting to see from North Carolina. But they sweep Notre Dame. Obviously, Notre Dame being ranked. I mean, great weekend for them. No matter their bats are still a little cold. I think they'll warm up eventually. But hey, wins are wins.
For sure, man. Next one, Texas Tech TCU. We're moving out of the ACC, kind of going to the Open here in the Big 12. Texas Tech TCU. I just want to mention this. TCU gets a sweep, a big win. I'll be
Yeah.
honest, I kind of threw them out. Not necessarily completely trashed them, but just kind of just set them aside for a moment. But they got a big sweep. Still no Tommy Lepore, but I want to say that's just a huge series for them. And then Arizona State, West Virginia. West Virginia's playing some good ball right now, man.
West Virginia. Good.
They've got some bats. They've got the pieces to be so good.
Yeah. I
You
don't
know,
even think you can say really much bad about Arizona State. They are a good team. Um, they might have thought they made like West Virginia made them look this last weekend. Uh, I think this West Virginia team is just that. I
yeah, I
think they
mean,
can.
they're batting 324. Yeah, 3.94 team ERA. They're swinging it. They're doing what they need to do. They look good, man. So they're playing good. Love the pieces that they have. Gavin Kelly for West Virginia. Dude's a dog, man. He's
Yeah.
elite. He's a player to watch for sure. And then I wanted to mention Oregon and UC Santa Barbara. Jackson, Florida, big piece. Low scoring, a lot of pitching this series. Jackson, Florida, shining. Will Sanford, shining. I wanted to go to game three, though, in this game and give a shout out to Cal Scolari. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 walks, 9 Ks. This Oregon team's sneaky, man. They've got a rotation. They've got pitching. They can hit the ball. A really good quality series win. They're kind of really only quality kind of series you could say is Las Vegas when they were there. But they looked good. They did get blown out today by Michigan 10-0, which was insane. But again, we forget that. We'll talk about that later. But I think a good quality for win and a series win for Oregon. But pitching this weekend was elite for both these teams, I'd say.
Yeah. Uh, it was Saturday's loss 8-2. That's kind of a little whack. Um, but then they go to Tuesday and they lose to Portland 3-0, and then they go to Michigan today and they lose 0. Um, I, like Oregon's a good ball squad. Obviously, don't get me wrong. Don't get that wrong. They are good. I do want to see them like UC Santa Barbara is a good team, but I kind of am waiting for them to play like a really overall solid team, and for them to get beat 10-0 today by Michigan's kind of maybe a little jarring. So I don't know. They're still a good team, but I'd like to see a little more from them.
For sure, man. So we'll kind of see how that plays out from there. But now, that's your recap. Let's go to our stress meter. Jaden, would you like to present us with our stress meter for today?
I can indeed. 5 teams, like always. Um, so 5 teams to go over, and to begin with, we'll start. We have a few SEC teams, so that's what it is. Um, we'll start with Tennessee. Obviously, not off to a great start in the SEC. 3-6, and then got swept by Vandy team that hasn't looked like incredibly good. Also a rival. Vandy has owned them in all sports this year. Sorry, Tennessee fans. But yeah, Tennessee is first one.
It's brutal, man. I'm absolutely smashing the panic button right now. Like I basically broke the button at this point. I'm at a 10. You have 100 and they're 135th in runs per game.
Yeah.
150th in team batting average in the country. It's brutal. Like I can't say anything positive except the pitching staff that they've got.
Yeah.
That's what's going to keep them alive. If they want to stay afloat and stay relevant in the SEC, they're in jeopardy of missing, and they're in jeopardy of missing the field of 64. They are. I mean, it's just they aren't playing good. They can't get runs across the plate. You struggle against Vandy. Vandy is not. It's not that Vandy's a bad squad. You get swept, and it's unfortunate for you. But not being able to score really hurts, and getting base runners even. They're tied 120 and base on balls, so they're not. I mean, not taking a lot of walks. I would say. I mean, it's a struggle for Tennessee, and it doesn't enlighten me at all. So I'm honestly at a 10, and that may seem like too much to a lot of people, but you got to hit the
Yeah.
panic button, man. It's time.
Yeah. I mean, we saw early on when they played Kent State earlier in the year, and they got shown how to play some baseball. So we've seen that they have some struggles, and it's still lingering. Second team, we'll actually go to the ACC for this one. Notre Dame. Uh, I mean, yeah, they got swept not so greatly at home, and but also they were ranked. Then you get swept. No, like
Yeah,
yeah,
like this one's interesting to me because they're kind of like for me. This one's tough. You're 119th in team ERA on the mound. You're 5.46 ERA. You've got Jack Riddell, and then after that, what do you kind of have on the mound? Ty Uber struggled. You just pieces have struggled. I do have some hope in the bats. I mean, I think they're a solid team at the plate. For ACC play, though, man, this pitching staff's going to have to get a little better. And I mean little, it's going to have to be a lot better. Right now, I'm going to go with the 7 because they still got good pieces, and I think they can still compete in the ACC with what they have. So I'm going to say an 8 for Notre Dame, which is still high. I'm still panicking, but I'm not going to go as high because I still think there's a slim bit of hope that they can compete in the ACC.
no, they're 6 and 7 in the ACC right now. I mean, not great, but something they can they can bounce back from. Still a lot of games left to play. Then going back to the SEC, not a surprise for this one, but Arkansas. Obviously, like I had mentioned, first time since 2016 to go to Clemson and Fayetteville. But then again, they're 4-5 in the SEC, and that's one of the worst spots, one of the worst starts I think they've ever had. Um, Obviously, the rankings dropped them a lot this week, but that's not really surprising. What do you think about them?
Look, I'm at an 8 for or 8, putting up alongside Notre Dame. So this is the issue. Like, I want to be as panicked as I am with them about Tennessee. The thing is, I still see Arkansas ceiling. I'm more going off the potential. For Tennessee, I can't really say they've had a big quality series win. Which look, they competed at Globe Life. They did. Not taking that away from them. But since SEC play, I haven't seen that ceiling. With Arkansas, you get a big series win against Mississippi State. We've seen the ceiling they can have. I'm still highly concerned because they're batting 231 in conference play, 5.81 ERA in conference play, and then you get Ryder Helfrich, and big pieces that you need are not showing up. That's not going to do you any justice. It's not going to do you any good. Right now, I'm going to stick with an 8, and I'm only giving them an 8 and not a 9 or a 10 because I still know what their ceiling can be because
Mm-hmm.
we've seen it this year.
Fair enough. It's Arkansas. They can bounce back. They've got the coaching. They've got the guys. Another SEC team, Auburn. They've obviously
Swept.
lost quite a few games recently, and then get swept by a hot Bama team, but also a rival team. Um, I mean, yeah,
So they get swept by Alabama. kind of have a rough weekend at the plate. Thought their pitching was solid still. I'm at a 4. I'm not really that concerned because they're still a good team. Here's the thing: Alabama's hot right now. Um, Auburn's bats weren't. Again, we saw how vulnerable they can be this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I still look at their pitching, and that gives me a lot of hope. Right? You still got Jackson. You still got Jackson Sanders. You still got Petrovic.
Mm-hmm.
You still got guys who can throw and deal on the mound. And you got Marciano as well. You've got guys who can throw. You've got a solid staff pitching. We've just seen the bats be where they're at. So I'm not that concerned. I'm going to stick with a 4. We've seen how vulnerable the bats can be, but right now I'm not panicking. We'll see after this weekend. They do play Arkansas, so it'll be an interesting series for sure.
Yeah, it's Auburn. They still got the guys. It's just kind of jarring to see them lose as many games as they have, and they're 5-5 in the SEC. But a ton of games left to go. And then lastly, ACC team. They were on here last week, but NC State again. They just got swept again. They don't look good in the SEC. ACC, sorry. It was to a great Georgia Tech team, like we had said earlier, but they had really no firepower, and then they didn't even compete in the last game, did not even try to not be swept, and get shut out 10-0.
Yeah, I mean, they're 1-5 in their last 6.
Yeah.
They're batting .254 in conference play, 6.60 team ERA. Just a thought, it's not a recipe for success. It's just not.
Yeah.
I do love what they have. They've got pieces. They're struggling, though. They can't continue like this, though. I don't like how it's looking for them at this moment. I'm going to go with a 7. I think I'm near panicking. Well, I mean, technically, I am stressing. I mean, you're up there. But these numbers don't satisfy me. If you watch them, there's no life in the game threes.
Yeah.
They failed to be good the last couple of weeks. I am starting to get a little concerned. So I'm going to go with I know it's at 7. I'm going to pump it back to a 6 a little bit. I still think this is a good roster. I still think this is a good team. But I think right now they've kind of hit a slump. But I think they can still get over the wall.
Fair enough. Fair enough. 4-6 in ACC played. Obviously not what you want. I think could have been some more lights this last weekend. And again, good Georgia Tech team. I do just one last thing. I just want to know very quickly your stress on FSU losing Miles Bailey. Yes, they did win the series this last weekend. They play Virginia this weekend. Yes, they lost tonight, but that's a huge loss. I mean, honestly, that was kind of like JT Toppin and Texas Tech, in basketball. Like you basically lose your best guy by a mile. So what's your stress about FSU?
So this one is interesting because I was, obviously thinking about it. So you still got the rotation that they have, okay? You still got Wes Mendez, Trey Beard, 2 guys who are absolute studs and they can play. They've got the pieces. They got a nice reliever and John Abraham. Love what this guy can do. Love how he plays. I do look at this lineup though, and you look at the guys they've still got right now. They've got 4 guys besides Myles Bailey hitting above 300. And so I am concerned without Myles Bailey. You lose a big bat, but there's still, it is. But I also think Myles Bailey didn't win them all their games. You know what I mean? Like No question, he is a big part to that team. I'm not saying that by any means. But I still think there are pieces on this roster that they can still work with. I'm going to have to say a 6, though, because that is a big loss, but they've still got pieces to be a good team. They've still got potential, but yes, that is an absolutely massive loss for this squad.
Yeah, it's sad to see, even as a Florida fan. It's just hate to see a guy like him. I mean, he won't play again this year, obviously, and this is probably the end of him in an FSU jersey. So, yeah, it's tough to see a guy that good be hurt on just a freak accident of a play. So, but yeah, just wanted to know what your thoughts were there because that's a huge loss. But again, we'll see. They got Virginia this week. They got to bounce back from the first loss, but we'll obviously see how they do next week.
For sure, man. So I think we'll go ahead and get our schedule out first before we go look at the field of 64, just to get the schedule out the way. We'll go with our main slate. You've got FSU, Virginia, Boston College, North Carolina, Coastal Carolina, South Alabama, Notre Dame, NC State, Ole Miss, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Auburn, Vandy, A&M, Utah, Kansas, Alabama, Oklahoma, Louisville, Duke, Wake Forest, Pitt, Oregon, Michigan, LSU, Tennessee. That is a massive series. That is a huge, huge series for both those teams. UCF, West Virginia, TCU, Kansas State, Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, Minnesota, Iowa, USC, UCLA. Big time, man. That's big time. We'll go to our mid-major schedule now. Charlotte, East Carolina, UC Davis, UC Irvine, Hawaii, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara, Cal Poly, Wright State, Northern Kentucky, Rider, Marist, Air Force, San Diego State, Wofford, VMI, Northwestern State, and UTRGV. And that'll wrap up your schedule for this week. Go check those out. Go watch all the baseball games because why not? It's college baseball. So do yourself a favor. Go watch some college baseball. Go watch the greatness that goes down this weekend. All right. Now, we're going to look at the field of 64 projections. Way too early, but we want to kind of just mention them. And I kind of just want to look and see because I've gotten a sneak peek, and some of these regions look fun. So we'll start with the first four I have here. You got the Los Angeles Regional, UCLA hosting with number 2 NC State, number 3 CBU, number 4 FDU. Then at the 16th national seed in the Eugene Regional, you got Arizona State at number 2, number 3 UTSA, number 4 Kent State. If that is a regional, that is an absolute must watch.
If
That would
that
be so
if that were to actually be a reason at the end of the year, I just want to say Oregon is not the team to come out.
they're not. Well, I say that. Oh boy, that's a
I
dude.
wouldn't
That's just
I wouldn't bet on them being a team.
that's a dangerous regional, man. We'll go with the Austin Regional. Texas number 2 national seed with number 2 TCU, number 3 Lamar, number 4 St. Joseph's.
I just want to say that might be the easiest path for Texas. Sorry, these teams can be good, but like that might be the easiest.
Yeah, man. Then you have the Conway Regional with Coastal Carolina, the 15th national seed. You have number 2 Auburn, number 3 Kansas, number 4 Campbell. That's a dicey
So
little
Auburn again? No, yeah, that would.
that's a dicey little regional there, man. A little dicey. Then you got number 3 national seed, the Atlanta Regional, Georgia Tech. Number 2 Cincinnati, number 3 Mercer, number 4 Bethune Cookman. It's an interesting one with Cincinnati in there. The
But
Tallahassee
again,
Regional.
Mercer and the same Thurman, they could put them on fire.
This one's going to be interesting. Tallahassee Regional, number 14 national seed FSU, number 2 A&M, Texas A&M, number 3 Missouri State. Those kids can hit, man. They're ballers. Number 4 North Florida, also a very solid team as well,
Yeah, FSU's got to hold on to a regional though.
for sure. Then you have the Starkville Regional, number 4 national seed, Mississippi State. This one's going to be fun. With Notre Dame at 2, number 3 Kansas State, and number 4 Rider. Oh boy, would you look at this. Number 13 national seed, we have the Gainesville Regional. This one will be fun. You ready?
I've seen it. I know.
Brace yourself. You might start having nightmares.
Yeah, I've seen
Number
it. Don't
2,
worry.
Boston College.
Yeah.
Number 3, High Point. Number 4, Yale. Brace yourself, buddy.
I was going to
Brace
say
yourself.
that regional will not happen because I think Boston College will host a regional. Uh, but if Florida were to get High Point again, I just want to say I hope we could beat them 20-0 because if we were to lose the High Point again, I just that would be
Shatter your heart.
yeah. Yeah.
You got the Charlottesville Regional now. Number 5 national seed, Virginia. Number 2, LSU. Number 3, Connecticut. Number 4, Bucknell.
Regional there. LSU
That's
not hosting a regional is insane though. Obviously, again, this could change, but just like for them not to be projected to host one is just insane.
it's something. Then the Tuscaloosa Regional. Number 12 national seed, Alabama. Number 2, Nebraska. Number 3, Miami. Number 4, SEMO.
That one's a good one. I like
Yeah, I like that. I like that one. Then you got Chapel Hill, North Carolina, number 6 national seed. Number 2, Kentucky. Number 3, Texas State. Number 4, Wright State. That's dicey.
yeah.
This one's about to get dicey, though. I'm excited for this one. If this does happen, which obviously is way too early, so odds are slim, but never know. Athens Regional, number 11 national seed, Georgia. Number 2, UCF. Number 3, Jacksonville State. Number 4, Murray State.
We've seen what Murray State can do in the postseason. It's all last year. I know they might have
Mm-hmm.
not started, off as well as they wanted to this year, but they found their a groove in conference play, and I think that's really all you need for a Murray State team.
Get ready for this regional. Morgantown Regional. Number 7 national seed, West Virginia. Number 2, Wake Forest. Number 3, Tennessee. Number 4, Oral Roberts.
I'm gonna say I know I love West Virginia because they have looked great, but would I be insane to say if that was a regional that they might not come out of it?
I would have to agree. I don't think they're making it out of it.
That would be a dog fight.
That would be. Los Angeles Regional, USC, number 10 national seed. Number 2, Oklahoma. Number 3, Cal Poly. Number 4, Nevada, out the Mountain West. I just like to say, UNLV is gonna outbeat Nevada. Okay, we're gonna do it.
Yeah, whatever you think.
But our pitching sucks. Our Hattiesburg Regional, number 8 national seed, USM, the Golden Eagles. Number 2, Ole Miss. Number 3, Pitt. 4, Bryant.
If I'm not mistaken, was it Super Regionals last year that they had one of the Mississippi teams play Southern Miss?
I
I
don't
don't think it was
remember.
the regional. I can't remember, but to have a Mississippi team play another Mississippi team in a regional, any like as like two big schools like that would be fun to see.
For sure. And then last but not least, Corvallis Regional, number 9 national seed, Oregon State. This will be fun with Arkansas, Louisville, Portland.
Yeah, basically two disappointing teams so far in Arkansas and Louisville, but that can get really really hot. I Oregon State looks so good, but honestly, I'd say there's a chance they wouldn't have that regional.
There's a chance, for sure, man. But that will wrap up the Field of 64 projection, and that will wrap up today's episode. That was a long one, our longest for college baseball so far, I believe. But we thank you guys so much for joining us. Jaden, is there any last minute thoughts from you, Bubba?
Yeah, I don't know if you've looked at those tonight. You will be
I don't want to look till tomorrow.
pleasant.
I already know, man.
So just know that next week will probably be a fun week to talk as well if these scores continue into the weekend.
For sure, man. Well, go follow us to go check out that show. How do you do it? Well, we got a TikTok, got an Instagram, got a YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Across the board podcast. Go join us. Go follow us. Go like and subscribe. Tune in, and we hope to see you guys on the next episode.
Yep. See you next time.